He said something after one of the most grueling matches of the 2026 World Cup that I think is one of the most psychologically honest things any elite footballer has ever said publicly. He said, "You have to know how to suffer, not you have to be positive, not you have to stay confident. You have to know how to suffer." That specific acknowledgement that suffering is not something to be avoided or suppressed or performed past, but something to be known, understood, and navigated, is the entire psychological foundation of Julian Alvarez's career. And it is why La Araña, the spider, keeps climbing. Long after everyone else has stopped. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to PsyWealth Richie. Today we are covering someone whose story I think is perfectly timed and deeply instructive, because Julian Alvarez's 2026 World Cup journey, from the quarterfinals suffering against Switzerland to the final loss against Spain, and the message he posted afterward, contains one of the most complete psychology, lessons about resilience, dignity, and defeat, and the specific courage of getting back up that we have ever featured on this channel. If you are new here, subscribe. Now let's get into it. Born on 31st January 2000, Alvarez cut his teeth in his hometown of Calchin, Cordoba, not Buenos Aires, not a major city with professional infrastructure and exposure. Calchin, a small town in the Cordoba province of Argentina, population a few thousand people. And from that small town, through the specific combination of extraordinary talent and the specific psychological qualities that small town Argentina tends to produce in its footballers, he made his way to River Plate, then Manchester City, then Atletico Madrid, then the World Cup, developed at River Plate, polished under Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, and now a mainstay for Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid. The versatile forward arrived at his second FIFA World Cup with the ultimate pedigree. He already knows what it takes to lift the sport's greatest prize. He knows what it takes, not theoretically, from having done it in Qatar 2022, when he scored 4 goals and became one of the most decisive players of the tournament. And then, at the 2026 World Cup, he faced something different, the suffering. Here is the moment from the 2026 World Cup that I think reveals Julian Alvarez's psychology most completely. After Argentina came through yet another grueling World Cup test to beat 10-man Switzerland, 3-1 in the quarterfinals following extra time, Alvarez said, "You have to know how to suffer. You have to know how to suffer." That sentence deserves slow examination, because it is not just a description of the match. It is a complete psychological philosophy. Most people, and most athletes, treat suffering as the enemy of performance, as something to be minimized, managed, and overcome as quickly as possible, so that the real performance can begin. Alvarez's philosophy inverts that. Suffering is not the obstacle to the performance. It is part of the performance. You do not wait for the suffering to end before you perform. You learn how to perform through it. You develop a relationship with it, not as something to be avoided, but as something to be known, understood, navigated, and that specific psychological skill, the ability to keep performing through genuine difficulty without catastrophizing or being derailed by it, is one of the most valuable things any human being can develop in any field. Here is something about Alvarez's psychological story that most people overlook because they focus on the football. At Manchester City's under Pep Guardiola, one of the greatest managers in football history, Alvarez was not always getting the starts in the biggest matches that his performances seemed to deserve. The FA Cup final, key Champions League knockouts. Guardiola consistently chose Holland for those moments. And Alvarez, a World Cup winner, a Copa America winner, one of the most complete forwards in world football, was watching from the bench in matches where everything was on the line. Most players in that situation either accept the situation quietly or create public drama about it. Alvarez did something different. He left, not with anger, not with a public statement about being disrespected. He simply evaluated the situation honestly, concluded that his development and his happiness required an environment where he was the central figure rather than the alternative, and moved to Atletico Madrid. That decision, the quiet, honest, ego-free evaluation of what he actually needed, is the psychology of someone who knows themselves well enough to choose their own development over the prestige of staying somewhere that is not fully serving them. Here is the nickname that defines everything about Alvarez's playing psychology. La Araña, the Spider. He earned it not for one spectacular quality, but for a combination of qualities that together create something that is almost impossible to contain. The pressing, the positioning, the intelligence of movement, the way he appears in spaces that defenders thought were covered, the way he spins a web around opponents, invisible until the moment of capture, and then strikes with the specific clinical efficiency that has defined his career. That spider quality, that patient, intelligent, positioning-based approach to finding the right moment is not just a football style. It is a psychological orientation. He does not force things. He does not impose himself loudly on every moment. He waits, he reads. He understands where the space will be before it exists. And then he is there already waiting. That patience, that psychological discipline of not rushing is one of the most powerful qualities available to any performer who wants to consistently produce in high-pressure situations. Here is the most powerful thing Alvarez said during the entire 2026 World Cup, and he said it after the loss. After Argentina's 1-0 defeat to Spain in the final, after the tournament he had prepared his entire year for ended without the trophy. He wrote, "Eternal gratitude to all Argentinians for always being there, cheering, supporting and believing until the end. We all dreamed of bringing the cup home, but beyond the result, what we lived and felt during these 50 days we will never forget. Because winning is beautiful, but representing this flag with dedication, commitment, and heart is what defines us. We will get up, learn, and keep going, because no matter what, that is who we are. We will get up, learn, and keep going, because that is who we are." That sentence, said in the immediate aftermath of the biggest disappointment of the tournament, is the psychology of someone who has fully internalized the "you have to know how to suffer" philosophy. He is not performing strength for the cameras. He is stating a fact about who he and his teammates are. People who get up, people who learn, people who keep going, not because the pain is not real, but because getting up is simply what they do after every fall, without exception. And now I want to speak directly to you, because I think Julian Alvarez's psychology contains something that every single person watching this genuinely needs right now. Most of us are trying to avoid suffering. We design our lives around minimizing the uncomfortable, the difficult, the genuinely painful. And when suffering arrives anyway, as it always eventually does, we treat it as evidence that something has gone wrong, that we have failed, that the plan needs to change. Alvarez says you have to know how to suffer, not avoid it, know it, understand it, develop a relationship with it that allows you to keep performing through it without being broken by it. And then, after the suffering, after the loss, after the final that did not go the way you planned, you say what Alvarez said: we will get up, learn, and keep going, because that is who we are, not who we sometimes are, not who we are when things are going well, who we are always after every fall, without exception. That is not toughness, that is identity. The specific, stable, unshakable knowledge of who you are at your core, and the certainty that who you are is someone who gets back up. Find that identity in yourself, and then the next time suffering arrives, you will know what to do with it. Because you will know how to suffer, and you will already know that you are going to get up afterward. Julian Alvarez grew up in Calchin, became a World Cup winner, won the Copa America, left Manchester City with quiet dignity when the situation no longer served him, suffered through the 2026 World Cup quarter-final and said you have to know how to suffer, lost the final 1-0 to Spain and said we will get up, learn, and keep going because that is who we are. That is the spider psychology, patient, intelligent, never forcing, always finding the space, always getting back up, and always, always climbing. Subscribe to PsyWealth Richie. Share this with someone who needs to hear that suffering is not the enemy of performance. It is part of it. And that getting up afterward is not optional. It is simply who they are. We will see you in the next one.